All right, we are back, and I misspoke a moment ago talking about how I thought XiaoGeGe was eliminated. There is actually the potential for him to still make it in, and it all relies on this right here. Zhanhun, he's also 2-4, but has less map score. So if he loses here, there is potential where XiaoGeGe, if he beats Dewalt, could actually still make it in. So this is a very important match, especially for Zhanhun if he wins. But it's going to be tough because Bonyth, he's the king of PvP, man. Yesterday I saw even versus even battles all game long versus Dewalt, or what you thought were going to be even battles, and then all of a sudden Bonyth just clobbered him and had an overwhelming victory.
Yeah, and one thing I noted yesterday is Bonyth doing his 2-gate against the Chinese players, but not against Dewalt. Bonyth's 2-gate is a very well-known build in the foreign scene. It is like a stylistic thing that people have noted over time, but the Chinese players, they don't know that they're just going to get completely wrecked by it. If you his PvP on Vermeer yesterday, where his opponent went for the 1 gateway nexus response, and Bonyth just rolls out with 6 range dragoons. The opponent has 5 range dragoons. Bonyth just smashes him. Dewalt would never lose to that because Dewalt knows the 6 dragoon range timing.
Yeah, there was that exact scenario happened yesterday on the Vermeer, like you mentioned. I think it was even goons, like 5v5, and Bonyth still won the battle. I was like watching it, I'm like, dude, how does this happen every single time? He just always out micros you.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see that this game, because it is such a fun build to watch. You build the 3 zealots, and then you don't even build a third pylon. You just go straight into gas core. Third pylon comes on like 24, and then you go 6 dragoons with range fast, and your opponent could believe possible. It's an interesting build.
Well, we'll see if he pulls it out. Vermeer is our map, so let's get into game 1 of Bonyth versus Zhanhun.
Bonyth in the top right is the red Protoss, and he's got the right side mining. He's got the optimized perfect 4 crystals. If he is going for a gateway attack, this is a dream start for him.
So the stars are aligning, QwarK. We could see the Bonyth 2-gate. I think you've mentioned it to me outside of the cast a couple times. So what makes the Bonyth 2-gate so strong in comparison to, say, let's say I load up a ladder game and just try and 2-gate myself? What's the difference maker here?
The timings that it produces are incredible. So you will always have a timing with 3 zealots at their ramp when they have 1 zealot, 1 dragoon, which means you will always get in. You get in and you start killing probes, you start pressuring, you force the battery, maybe you force them off gas, you get crazy good scouting information. The follow-up to that is that if they counterattack with their dragoons, you'll always have a timing where you have 4 dragoons at your natural when they have 3 dragoons at your natural. If they stay on one gateway and they take a nexus, there will always be a timing with 6 range dragoons at their natural when they have 5 range dragoons. So it is so easy to lose one of 2 gate. And let's see what the gateway timing is. I want to see a 112 gateway.
Okay, well, I do have to point out that this gate is far away for the ramp. I'm not sure if that will affect his decision on the 2-gate, but initially I'm thinking that because of how far away it is, it may not be the 2-gate.
Yeah, that's like a polypoid gate. That's curious. Okay, yeah, he's going 1 gate. That's not as fun for me, but I mean, Bonyth knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and we do have gate gas from both sides. Zhanhun just slightly later, and he is going to go for a slightly later scout. And unfortunately for Bonyth this game, his spidey senses were not tingling. He's not going to get the first scout off. He is going to go cross spawn. Well, I don't think he is. Maybe he will.
No, I thought he would turn it around after the middle, but I was hoping he would turn it right.
Yep,
so interesting thing here is the Zhanhun scouting on the right-hand side. I think that on the spawns where there's right side mining, it's always better to scout towards the right because you want to know if they're there. That's more dangerous.
Yeah, you want to see if they have that optimized mining like you do also. And Zhanhun gets in and he sees, okay, we're doing the same mirrored build right now. Probe is being annoying.
It is a big deal to get the scouting information PvP though. It's because Zhanhun's Zealot will be in time to deny Bonyth ever getting in. The Bonyth is just going to have to play a robo build because that's the safe opening. That's what you have to do if you don't get in. But then the counter to that, as Raz mentioned yesterday, is just 1 gateway nexus 3 gateways. 1 gateway 3 gateway. 1 gateway nexus 3 gateways is just what you do that never gets you behind against robo openings.
Well, we've got this Zealot just watching that pylon get built right in front of his face, and that probe has done a lot of damage to that other probe. He may actually kill it. Yeah, he does save it now, but that was a good pylon block, and back in Zhanhun's main, he still hasn't spent his gas, and that I think that just went into an expensive building. That was 200 gas instantly spent. Maybe it was range and robo at the same time, or sorry, not range and robo, goon and robo.
Range. Love it.
Yeah. All right, well, what are we looking to get done with this particular opener? This is a 320 robo. It's going to be considerably faster than Bonyth.
You've got a few different options. One of the things you can do here is if you do a probe cut and add another gateway, get range, you can do a devastating Reaver push. But you don't have to commit to that. You can also just play it defensive, because range, as long as you're not having an early fight, it doesn't really matter when you get it. It's delaying range for a faster robo just means that you have more robo uptime. More robo uptime means more Reavers.
Yeah, I'm really liking this build because of what you said. The robo is going to be much faster. I would like to see Zhanhun transition this into like a 2 or 3 gate combination attack, because like you said, Bonyth didn't get into the main, so he knows that it's, or he's got to go observatory, right? So his Reaver's just going to be flat out way later.
Yeah, I mean, Bonyth's build is the correct build for this exact situation where the robo timing will always deny DTs, the 2 gate will deny some weird timing attacks. It's fine, but Zhanhun is cutting corners in a way that is going to give him advantages here. Zhanhun, as I said, will always have more robo uptime. The delayed range won't hurt him because Zhanhun gets to decide whether there's going to be a fight. Now, this could get a bit spicy. Okay, then he's backing off.
I like how Zhanhun's poking in here and just getting a count on the goons. He also didn't show whether he has range or not, so Bonyth's still unaware if that's the case. Okay, well, that's a mistake. That goon's probably going to die. Goodbye. I think.
Oh,
no.
It's going to be close. No, maybe it can still catch it. The goons are kind of dumb. There we go. Yeah. So that's kind of a big deal. Zhanhun, also his range I don't think he started yet. He cannot actually take his natural. He is relying on his ramp to defend. He's going into like a quick speed shuttle here. He's still no range. This is he's going pretty heavy on the harass here. The harass is going to be pretty binary. Either it gets what he needs done or it doesn't. And he has no potential to expand until the range is done.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen this particular opener from from a Protoss player. Like, I've seen obviously a robo rush, but to rush speed, that's a new one for me. It feels like range is just a mandatory upgrade in PvP, but for now he still hasn't gotten it. Still no idea what he's doing from Bonyth's perspective. Yeah, there it goes. Finally, it's going to start.
Well, I mean, the speed shuttle is going to be quicker than like Bonyth can really imagine it would be, and it's. I mean, you up a ramp, you don't really care about range goons versus non-range if you up a ramp. But Bonyth is going to see this. Is he? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, he's going to come in and see that the cybernetics is spinning, and that's going to be a tell to him that this robo had to have been rushed. And you can... Oh, I thought he was moving his goons to his main, but he's just set his rally point there.
Yeah, this is... I would like to see him reposition the goons more aggressively here.
He is in the main. Can he get that juicy Reaver shot? He just bombs directly on it, and that's like 8 kills already. Yeah, I get. Oh, well, he's gonna lose it. That was that worth?
Okay. I do not believe that was worth. Not for the delayed range, because now Zhanhun's in a weird position where if Bonyth counterattacks, Bonyth knows there's no range. How is Zhanhun going to take his natural?
Yeah, that's true. So this could be. Go ahead.
So he can build a slow Reaver and try and take his natural that way, but I mean, ranged dragoons are gonna give him a bad time. He's it was damage, but I don't think Bonyth should allow this expansion right now.
Yeah, range should be completing pretty soon actually, so I don't know if his timing will actually be in time, because it seems like he's waiting for the Reaver, but I like how Bonyth has the fast second Nexus, so I don't know how many probe kills got killed, maybe like 6 or 7 probably, but he'll be able to catch up that probe count quite quickly, and he clearly has the army count because he's still up in supply, so you know that that's all reflected in army right now. Here we go.
Shuttle versus no shuttle. This is going to get spicy.
We know how that unfolds, especially when it's Bonyth controlling the shuttle. The answer is not good for the player with no shuttle. That Reaver is not long for this world unless Zhanhun gets a shuttle out in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, there are players who could not succeed with this attack here, and then there's Bonyth. Bonyth is just going to do it correctly. It's going to be a joy to watch. I'm just going to sit here and just watch what happens.
Yep. Oh, shuttle came out. Oh, both players trading Scarab shots. That was really clutch defense from Zhanhun right now. Yesterday we had a... Oh, that was a big hit, actually. He's going to get the Reaver. No, he doesn't get the Reaver. He unloads and saves both Reavers. And, oh, that's a very far forward movement. Actually, the Reaver gets caught. It's Bonyth's Reaver that gets caught.
I spoke too soon, clearly. 1 hit point. Oh.
Oh, my gosh. Why? That is just such a heartbreaker for Bonyth there. Lose his key tech unit. I guess he at least damaged it quite heavily, but he really wanted that badly and unfortunately not able to get it. And now that Reaver's going to move across the map. Yes, it has no health, but it can just still be a nuisance.
I want to see Revenge of the Probes. I want to see the probe take it down.
It unloads. Yeah, it is going to bug out. It's not going to get any damage done. Alright, well, we do have more gateways getting put down. Bonyth still slightly up in supply, just barely. He has his natural running a little bit faster, so I would say the game state is pretty even at this point, despite Bonyth losing his initial Reaver.
Have we seen if Bonyth has range? Has shuttle speed yet? I know he's going to go for it, but I don't know if it's complete.
I don't think he does. Maybe he does, but I'm not sure. But we know, of course, Zhanhun does, and he has 2 Reavers here, so he wants to put pressure on this natural. Gotta be careful. That one's very low. Gonna force some damage out on the pylon.
Yeah, killing the pylon's barely worth it with the cost of the Scarabs. Kind of funny. It costs like 75 minutes to kill a pylon.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth in terms of minerals, but maybe you can supply block your opponent, which he will if he takes it down. Second Reaver out for Bonyth, though, so army comp, or at least in terms of sheer numbers, I actually think Bonyth has slightly more right now, but Zhanhun with the superior position.
Yeah, it's so difficult to push out into a concave with Dragoons. Dragoons just, they block each other constantly. Bonyth is doing the only thing he can do here by forcing the Reaver back with Reaver Micro.
Yeah, and that Reaver did actually take damage. So both Reavers have lost all their shields, and that one lost all its shields and health. Goodbye.
Yeah, Zhanhun, it's time to go home. It's you can't stay out here anymore. He might try to stay out here anymore, but it's not gonna go well for him.
Yeah, and we see actually Bonyth must have superior econ also because he's starting to run away in supply and also just in the sheer number of gateways. He's got Citadel. He's got 6 gates. Meanwhile, okay, actually Zhanhun is matching the gateway count, but I don't see Citadel anywhere. And look at that, I even see the Nexus not blinking.
I think Bonyth saw the speed shuttle go back to get the Reaver with his observer at Zhanhun's natural, because he just pushes out as the shuttle's going back to get a second Reaver. He just takes the position. Love it.
He's on top of it, and he's not going to allow this flank to happen. Maybe he's not. Reavers unload for both sides. Those are big Scarab hits in the center.
Manually targeted Scarabs. Beautiful.
But there's still so much Zhanhun left over. The Scarabs, or the Reavers, are still alive also. This might be a bad trade for Bonyth. Maybe not, though. He's microing his heart out. The Scarabs, that's a big hit. Finally doing decimating or tons of damage to those Dragoons, and Bonyth is going to be pushed back.
Yeah, he's getting pushed back, but he's got a 12 supply lead. It's we'll see how this goes. He's got Zealot legs too. Actually, no, he hasn't. I'm making shit up.
Those Reavers are pretty low. The micro on the shuttle is fantastic, but I think Bonyth should eventually overwhelm this army. He is. The Zealot ended up dying really quickly. Shuttle's gonna die. Reaver, can it get off one more shot? It does. That's a great follow-up shot from the Reaver to go before it ends up falling. So nicely done from him. He did as much damage as possible. Yet still, Bonyth still up 10 supply.
Yeah, it's an even game state at the moment with the potential for harass, but Bonyth has a bigger army. I think at this point, neither player really wants to do a big attack, so it's going to come down into speed shuttles again.
I also seem to like Bonyth's econ better because we didn't really get a good glimpse of the natural at Zhanhun's, but it just seemed like his probe count. Okay, maybe he transferred some now. He's okay. He's got about 12 or 13 there, but it just seemed like Bonyth has so many probes at his nut. But we're getting into the point in the game where minerals are running thin in the main. Players need to start considering taking a third base at this point.
Well, Bonyth's going archives. Zhanhun doesn't have his Citadel yet, as far as I can tell. So there's a timing here where if Bonyth is halfway towards High Templar, Zhanhun could do some real damage. But if he doesn't hit that timing, Archon and High Templar tech is much more efficient. It is just better in the big engagements.
I would love to see Bonyth go for a DT drop. There's no detection anywhere for Zhanhun. Like, there's not really that many observers out, and where there are observers, they're with the army in the center of the map. Whereas Bonyth, he's got vision. I mean, he even sees there's no cannon anywhere, so that could be a way to just end this game. We've got to have another engagement in the center of the map. I'm surprised leg upgrade is not upgraded just yet.
Yeah, those Zealots could all die in a split second against the Reavers if you target it correctly, and I think he's going to.
Yep, I think he is also, and like you said, those Zealots basically all melt. One of the Reavers dies, though, but Zhanhun still has a lot of goons on the right side, or at least he did for a moment.
That Reaver Connect in the heart of 4 Dragoons. He manually targets them. If you watch him stream, he manually targets the Scarab. It's beautiful.
Yep, somehow Zhanhun actually wins that battle, and the scores, or the supply was even 71 to 71 a minute ago, but now a slight supply lead. There's a DT that has moved across, or is moving across the map, and there's no detection, like I said. Oh, he picks off the observer too, so he can just waltz on by this DT.
I'm waiting for the tech switch. He's spent a lot of money on Zealot, which is saving up gas. He's got his archives. It's been around for a while. There's a tech advantage here that if Zhanhun doesn't close out the game quickly, will make a huge difference.
Look at this, the DT in the back, sneaky boy. He's going to catch that Reaver as it unloads, and if Zhanhun isn't paying attention, oh, he did catch, or he did realize, but it forced a pick up, I mean, and the goons instantly snipe it, and Zhanhun's supply is plummeted down to just 70 now versus 90 from, or almost 90 from Bonyth.
Bonyth need to expand or make a move though. His main is running dry. His Zhanhun's taking his third. It's he's either going to be massively oversaturated on one base or win the game. He's taking too long to take his third.
Yeah, he's now confirming the Nexus, and now that he sees the Nexus and it's been almost completed, he's probably just going to go for the bus. Oh, take that back. He's going to take a Nexus himself. DT is moving across the map. Gonna try and sit in that mineral line and wait for the probe transfer, and the observer may have just barely missed it.
Oh, love it. He's not going to attack anything. He's going to wait.
Yeah, he's just going to wait in the shadows for those juicy probe hits. You can see them being transferred right now. And we do have the Archons being morphed like you were talking about. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, he still hasn't started his third. This is go time for Bonyth. This is do or die.
Yeah, I think at this point where you're delaying your Nexus this long, you've got to just go for it. Now he's going to finally put down the Nexus after spending all of his resources on those heavy tech units. He also has 2 Reavers in that shuttle, so this is going to be really tough for Zhanhun to stop with just pure Goon Reaver. Yeah, look at the lack of Zealots for him. He has almost none, but actually the Goon count, is it really that low for Bonyth?
This is going to come down to where the Reaver Scabs connect. If the Reaver Scabs get great connections on the Zealots, then Zhanhun can win the fight. If they don't, then I don't think he can.
Oh my god, we're going in a base trade potentially. This Nexus is dead, and Zhanhun's just going to sack it, and he's going to breach the natural.
Yeah, but is he going to be able to breach the high ground? Because if he can't breach the high ground, then Bonyth can just fly back his Reavers and hold all day.
Well, if he can't breach... Oh, the Reaver's bugging out, not shooting! It's not shooting, neither is the Reaver at the bottom, so I guess both sides having bugged out Reavers, which is fortunate for Bonyth here. He'll be able to buy some time. Now Goon's getting into the main, and yeah, this is full-on base trade scenario. Now, is there any probe, like, out on the map anywhere for Blue or for Zhanhun? I mean, I see something in the center.
Bonyth's probe at 12 needs to go run to Zhanhun's base right now.
Oh,
he cannot hold 12, but he has a probe on the map. He needs to sell that Nexus and go.
Yeah, he does need to sell it. He's almost broke. He's at 350 minerals. He's not going to get it, man.
The probe's at the bottom right. He's rescuing them. The shuttle's on its way.
Yeah, he's just gonna retake Zhanhun's natural. That's gonna be his base.
He wants bottom left. Bottom left is the one to take. You want the high ground.
Okay, bottom left.
I don't know if he can get there in time, but the high ground is the base you want.
Well, either way, well, maybe he wants ideally bottom left, but his whole army is bottom right, so I think he is just going to end up taking the natural. And there's just too much DPS for Bonyth. Like, this is over. There's no way Zhanhun can clear the remaining buildings this quickly, and Bonyth's already rebuilt his base, so this is going to be Bonyth taking this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see any other way. Zhanhun has a Reaver, but there's no shuttle, so it's not like he can even like pressure it with shuttle micro.
There are 2-3 pylons remaining for Zhanhun, and that's it. Bonyth kills that, the game's over. And there we go, he's going to get it, and Zhanhun's going to be eliminated. Unless is that a pylon at mid-right? What is that? That's a pylon right there! So actually it's going to play on, but Bonyth has a Nexus in a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's Zhanhun will attack. He knows that he has to attack. He's putting his army from the top right now.
So we are going to have one last-ditch effort. What did Bonyth save? Maybe 8 probes. So it's 74 supply for him versus Zhanhun, who clearly has no probes. So there's a massive army advantage for Bonyth, and also ramp advantage, high ground advantage. This is going to be near impossible for Zhanhun to work. Does he not have a shuttle either? I forgot he got that picked off.
Yeah, no shuttle means no possibility to pressure the Reavers here.
Well, this is going to be one shot for Zhanhun. This is going to be near impossible. See if he can make magic happen, though. Probes are starting to mine, so he is on a clock, and he is going to go for it. Here we go. Pylon, of course, going to soak up hits. Nice. Well, Zhanhun, you gotta do something, man. You can't just sit here. Protoss is mining, where he's just gonna start building gateways at this point.
He still has gateways.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. He can just build gateways from the back. I forgot about that. Oh my God! Those bowling balls getting strikes after strike, and this is gonna be the end. Bonyth is gonna take game 1 in a crazy wild base trade scenario. There it is, GG. Well done from Bonyth, and that was close, man. Really back and forth. Supplies were even for the majority of the game. I like both players' builds, but the econ of Bonyth just a little bit too strong.
Yeah, it's losing that first speed shuttle with the Reaver was a huge loss for Zhanhun, just because he committed so much economy to get that one timing. He got a good shot on the main Nexus, but then after that, once he loses it, he's got nothing behind it. He can't. You can't easily build another shuttle and Reaver. They have very long build times. It's a loss that shouldn't really have happened if he's going to commit on the speed shuttle.
Yeah, but I still like the build order. It was cute. Just didn't get the damage that he was expecting. So I think how the game went, I think there's nothing in his mind where he's thinking like, oh, I'm outmatched here. It was a really close game, really down to the wire. But Bonyth is up 1-0, and Zhanhun, he desperately needs a win here. Like I said, if Zhanhun loses here and QiaoGeGe wins versus Dewalt, it is going to be Zhanhun and QiaoGeGe being eliminated. So it is critical that Zhanhun gets a win here if he can get it. But it's going to be tough. We got 2-player map Butter as our second map. And I remember now some of the feedback that you gave to me about some of the Protoss analysis is Bonyth likes the 2-gate on no ramp maps, right? And Butter is a no ramp map.
Opposite, I'm afraid. You can't.
Oh, opposite?
The 2-gate, you delay range for a. You delay range and you use your ramp to hold. Because there will be a timing where they have like 3 Dragoons, they can press your natural, but you'll have 4 Dragoons. Their 3 Dragoons have range, your 4 Dragoons don't, but you're just up a ramp, so you don't care.
Oh, okay, so maybe we won't see the 2-gate here. Regardless, we haven't seen it yet. So maybe Bonyth will try and get aggro. Maybe we'll have proxy gates in somebody's main like we did yesterday on Odyssey.
Yeah, that's so difficult to hold because it's not just about out-microing the Zealots. You have to make sure that you don't lose any probes. The Zealots aren't interested in fighting your Zealots. They're interested in the probes, and it's just There's a reason they call it horror gates. It is just absolutely horrible to play against.
Yep, and we are ready for game 2. It's going to be on butter. Okay, in the top right, our blue Chinese player. It is Zhanhun.
The bottom right, the red Protoss, winner of, was it 4 BSLs?
In a row.
Wow.
I think 5 in total.
Yeah.
You know, for
Back
a
here
while.
in the Bombastic Starleague, it is Bonyth.
Yeah, that's what the B stands for, man. And you know, the A in the ASL, it stands for Artosis Starleague. Did you know that? Well, there was a few years ago where Bonyth was tied with True Touch for who's the king of BSL, but now it's been basically confirmed at this point that the throne is definitely Bonyth's, and I don't see anyone ever overtaking him unless it can be Mihu. But you know, Mihu yesterday got clobbered by Sziky. There's a lot of strong players still left in the tournament, despite Mihu already having 2 championships. I don't think it's going to be as easy this time around. We do have Gate Scout from Bonyth.
And that was a 113 gate. Just to call that out, 113 is a very nice gate timing. Zhanhun got a 116.
So a little bit faster from Bonyth, really optimizing that right side mineral boosting. And surprisingly, Zhanhun not scouting at all, at least not just yet, despite it being a 2-player map. So Bonyth's going to be the one getting the full intel in the initial stages.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes for the mana pylon. It's not so good if you can't back it up with Zealot pressure, and the Zealot rush distances on this map are very long, but instead it's a fun thing to do.
I would love to see the mana pylon. It's definitely punishing, and if you can get two of them down, your eco is just absolutely obliterated. For now, Probe is just content with dealing a little bit of harassment damage. I think both players have gone for a Zealot here as they're approaching supply block status.
One thing that I've been seeing a lot lately too is mana pylons near the cybernetics core around the time the Dragoon's going to pop, because they just give you a little bit of vision too. So you run the probe home, and you can confirm that whether they cancel the range and throw down a citadel. It's just a nice little optimization that I've been seeing a lot of players do.
Yeah, that's a nice move. Something to consider for you guys out there that actually do play Protoss and sneak a probe across the map. Maybe pylon block the bottom patch if you can, as opposed to top one. We do have the Zealot. I thought he was going to get a shot off onto that probe, but not the case. Range being upgraded for both sides, so still mirrored builds. Now at this point in the game, what are you looking for? Are you just confirming range? What are you actually looking for as your probe gets pushed out of the main, or before it gets pushed out?
You're looking for range, looking for probes off gas. But this is an interesting map because it's flat. So normally you can go 1 gate robo, and that's kind of optimal. 1 gate robo, add second gateway, and you're good with that. But on this map, you are vulnerable to timing. The 1 gate robo just dies to goon timing attacks. So we've seen both players opt for the second gateway, and that's what you have to do if you're playing this flat map. It's a very map specific opener, but neither player really knows anything at this point because they both had their probes forced out by the first Dragoon.
Yeah, so both players still unknowingly going for the same counter. Obviously both players are aware of the flat feature going into that second gate. Zhanhun, he's weary that there could be proxies, I guess, because he is scouting around his base for hidden tech. He's even sending a goon across to the right side. Meanwhile, Bonyth also looking for that hidden tech. But there is no hidden tech to be found.
Yeah, you're trying to deny the vision of your natural. You're trying to just make sure they don't get any information to go with. Dragoons early in the game, the fastest thing on the map, tying with other Dragoons. So you just run them around, just confident that any time they get into danger, they can just escape. But Bonyth is looking to punish this Dragoon, and Zhanhun's looking to get in, take advantage of that.
Yep, Zhanhun, he is going to at least confirm there's no nexus, but other than that, doesn't see anything. And that goon that was chasing the probe does get intercepted, and these are Bonyth goons. You know, they don't let you get away easily, so that goon is likely going to die. And Zhanhun, okay, maybe he did escort it to safety on the left side of the map.
This is a pure mirror scenario, but Bonyth knows that there's one Dragoon that's just out of position because he forced it way to the left, so he could potentially get something done here at the natural. His micro is very, very good.
Well, 5 goons versus 4, and that is not a goon kill for Bonyth, so he's going to have to turn around here and just accept that he's lost his Zealot.
He saw every single Dragoon though. That tells him that it's 2-gate Robo. It's you count the opponent's Dragoons, you know how many gateways they have from the Dragoon count. So he's happy with the information at the mirror.
Yeah, so he traded that Zealot for that information, and that allows him to go into straight support bay, like you just saw. Meanwhile, Zhanhun has to consider that this could be DT, so there's actually an observatory for him.
Bonyth thinks it's V-gate. Bonyth, he thinks it's V-gate. He's now he's going to know it's not. I want to see him cancel the battery now, but he thought it was V-gate.
Maybe a little bit of a misread. Is it going to complete though? He is not going to let it complete at the very last second, so smart move to save those 75 minerals. Oh, the Manor Pylon at 6 minutes into the game. You ain't seen that one before.
It's tricky. Ideally, you want to hold at your natural. You want to establish that position so you can expand. But also, if you hold at your natural with 2-gate Robo and they've gone 3-gate Goon, you take the trade too early before your Reaver's done. And if both sides lose like 6 Dragoons, that is crippling for the 2-gate Robo player. It's not crippling for the 3-gate Goon player. So pulling back, going battery is the exact play you want to go if it's a 3-gate. But once he realized it wasn't, he adapted straight out of that.
And here he comes. He's going to be going for a push. Zhanhun sitting on the high ground. Bonyth needs to be careful. You saw how he leads the charge with the Zealot now. But Goon's going to get the first shot off. He picks off another Goon of Bonyth instantly. Really well done from Zhanhun. And I think that's going to be another dud. Oh, no. Actually, it was not a dud. It did deal a decent amount of damage there.
Yeah, that was like 300 points of damage. It clipped 2 units and hit another one fully. It's... Bonyth, before he manually targets his scabs, he's so precise on his clicking, and he gets more damage than he otherwise would. It really is a joy to watch his streams.
Yeah, and it's important to get those juicy scarab shots. You know, if you can hit 5 goons, that's 500 points of damage instead of, you know, 1 scarab just going off into no man's land hitting 1 goon. I mean, it makes a big deal, especially when you can get 2 shots on the same spot. That's going to blow up 5 goons all at once. I like how Bonyth is taking a Nexus after this initial engagement. It's considerably faster, or should be considerably faster than Zhanhun's. I don't know what happened to Zhanhun's build order, because their robo timing was the exact same, yet I don't think he has 2 Reavers. Just now the shuttle's getting across the map.
Oh, Bonyth saw that. Here come the Dragoons. Oh, no, he didn't. He just
missed it.
Game sensed it.
Oh, Reaver unloads.
That's more impressive that he didn't see it, in terms of that he pulled 3 Dragoons to his main at that timing.
Yeah, he knew something was wrong. Like, dude, you're just sitting here, you don't have a Nexus. Well, I guess he doesn't know if there's a Nexus or not. But he suspected that it was coming at this point in the game, and he had the Goons in the correct position at the right moment, limiting the amount of damage. I think only 2 probes fell, so not a lot of damage. And that Nexus is way far ahead of Zhanhun's now. Zhanhun just now started it.
Yeah, if you look at the supply, Zhanhun's been non-stop probes, non-stop Dragoons. He probably also has the shuttle speed, and he's going to make a move now.
Yeah, I think he's got to go. The Nexus is way too far along. You don't want to let that kick in. He is just waiting to get that second Reaver, and it is coming out here. That is a very far forward Reaver for Bonyth. It could get picked off if he's not paying attention.
Bonyth also has to be aware that Speed Shuttle could at any moment send Reavers into his main too, so Zhanhun can just go back and forth between the 2.
Yeah, this is a tough situation. Here's the double Reaver, going to take down the pylon, and this will supply block Bonyth if it falls. Both players unloading their Reaver, neither one getting a connection onto the Reaver though. He's going to decide to just try and hit the Goons with it, but he does give up the pylon.
Yeah, and that supply block's actually a big deal.
Yeah, he needs units right now, ASAP, but Zhanhun not going to let him get those units out. The Reaver shot does connect, actually. Well done. but it loses another goon for that.
Oh,
my God.
that is critical. That is this push is over.
Oh,
He wants to go. He
Here
wants to
comes.
go, but I mean, he shouldn't.
Oh, yeah, he should not. Definitely not. This is 3 Reavers, but the goon count, look how low it is for Bonyth. Both Reavers get instantly killed almost, but the reinforcements from the main are going to be more than enough to hold this.
Yeah, that's a frustration play if ever I saw one. You're doing this very delicate speed shadow Reaver, pick up, drop micro, and you're slowly grinding them down, and then you slip up for half a second, lose the Reaver, and you're just like, I'm done with this. This is...
Yeah, I'm not sure what triggered it. Was it because he, like, he felt like he had to do something, or is it because he saw the lack of goons, or what he thought were the lack of goons, but actually they were just a lot of them sitting in the main? But regardless, that was an amazing trade for Bonyth, and now that Reaver count has been reset for both sides, but there's still a huge econ advantage for Bonyth now. That was a huge probe transfer for him to the natural. And also, the gateway count is much bigger for Bonyth. Like, it's 4 now versus just 2.
Yeah, and his nexus aren't blinking. Once he saw that his opponent went delayed nexus, he just threw down a bunch of gateways because he wanted to just make sure he held. I would quite like to see the nexus resume flashing, because it's at a certain point you start putting yourself all in, but he's just going for units right now.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game he probably has at least 45 probes, which is decent for 2 bases. But we're going to have a big engagement on the high ground, and with Reaver reinforcement, that means Bonyth is going to have to turn around, at least for now, or try and draw Zhanhun out into the open field before engaging.
I like this a lot. He's got the superior map position with his army, so he doesn't need the Reavers there. And if he gets a good hit here, this could end the game if he gets a solid hit there.
Yep, Reaver unloads right up to that mineral field, and it does connect onto 3 or 4 probes. If he gets another shot, that would be fantastic.
Bonyth's mic going at the front. If you saw Bonyth's screen, there were little Reavers scouts heading out, and he was microing somewhere else. That's unfortunate, because normally he's so quick on the probe transfers, but he just... It's all his attention on the micro.
Yeah, and that natural got completely shut down. Bonyth still hasn't retransferred there, so he's gonna go for the push. He's got, I think, army advantage. That Reaver and shuttle are very far forward though, but so is Zhanhun's, and the shuttle dies, whereas Bonyth does not. And I think we're about to see this game end, QwarK.
Yeah, you don't hold that. There's no holding this. Bonyth's probe cut into like 5 gateway. He has so many units.
Goodbye, Reaver. And meanwhile, Bonyth still has 2 Reavers left over. There's no shuttle to micro this Reaver in the back. I like how he only unloads 1 at a time to make sure both don't get picked off. At least I thought he had 2.
No. He accidentally only picked up 1 of his 2 Reavers when he picked up his army to attack forward. So 1 Reaver wasn't there in the fight, but that meant that it did get killed.
Damn, that was well done from Bonyth. Just like yesterday, where we have these, even amounts of supply, even build orders. Just anytime there's an engagement, Bonyth just reigns supreme. I think Zhanhun got a little bit careless with his initial attack at the natural, then gets caught in the center of the map, and that's all she wrote, really. Bonyth doesn't need more than 2 mistakes. He will capitalize and end the game. So unfortunately, Zhanhun could be eliminated here. It depends if XiaoGeGe wins or not.
Yeah, it's it's tough because Zhanhun deliberately delayed his nexus to go for that particular push, relying on his Reaver shuttle micro to get it to work. And then once you make a tiny mistake, you look away for half a second, the Scarab connects to your Reaver. What do? Do you just go back home and say, well, I guess I take a disadvantage, or do you pull the trigger and make it even worse by losing a dozen dragoons? It's a tough spot.
A really tough situation. So we are going to be going into a break, and then we'll be coming back with our 4th matchup. I think that is going to be XiaoGeGe, or is it Dewalt versus Sziky? I think Dewalt versus... XiaoGeGe versus Dewalt. So we're going to find out who is going to be eliminated once and for all. Will it be XiaoGeGe or Zhanhun? So definitely don't miss that.